Okay, guys, what's up? Before I start, I would just love to invite you guys to like and subscribe to my YouTube if you haven't yet. Some really exciting things are coming up. In July, I'm doing a little road trip, and we are stopping at a place called The Clown Motel. Not a clown fan, okay? But we hear that it's haunted. And so I very much look forward to YouTubing some videos of that motel, see if there's any spiritual action going on. So how will you know how that goes if you don't like and subscribe to my page? I'm just saying. Okay, so now that that's done, welcome to this week. For a lot of you who have kids, who are students, this is one of the last weeks of school. Happy almost summertime. The great news is that there's not a lot going on astrologically. Hooray! I mean, listen, I like it when there's a lot going on astrologically because I find that to be very dynamic. I am a type of person that enjoys working within a dynamic landscape. Sometimes I can get a little bit lost when I don't have energy to work with. But, even for me, I'm kind of stoked that there is a little bit of a respite, a little bit of a timeout. The summer is kind of a bit of a respite from really heavy astrological happenings. There's still new moons and full moons and energy to work with, but it's not as all-consuming as this eclipse season has been, as we have seen with so much going on. It's just been making my head spin. Anyway, but this week, the kind of the big news is not till this weekend. You can cruise along, you can do your graduations, and this thing that's happening this weekend, I kind of dig because Venus has been in Taurus. Venus loves Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. This is foundational, lovey, yummy, relational, foundational, good stuff. But here comes Uranus to be like, what's up, guys? Oh, are you comfortable? Were you feeling comfortable? Let's get uncomfortable. Now, what I find really interesting is as Uranus comes to play with Venus is on a global scale, I say, freaking gay pride, you guys. I got a lot of it. I think that Uranus doesn't want us to view love, sex, relationships, all in the same way. Guess what? It's a free country. We all get to love who we want to love. We get to do what we want to do. We get to have the kind of sex we want to have. It is our bodies, our choice. Uranus is here to remind us of that. So I see a lot of gay pride coming up, which makes me happy. I'd love to recommend the graphic novel series that I just read to you guys called Heartstoppers. It was turned into a show on Netflix that is just darling. And, it's ever the reminder that love is love. And when I think of Venus and Uranus playing together, I see exploration. I don't know how many people I have talked to that feel like they are in a rut in their relationships. They're tired. Sex hasn't been happening. And it's like, well, this weekend is a time to do something wild, like do something that you wouldn't think to do. If you're single, swipe right. Is that saying yes? Swiping right. Swipe right or left, whichever it is, on someone that you wouldn't normally swipe on. Have a conversation with someone you wouldn't normally have a conversation with. Have some sex that you wouldn't normally have. Like, go pretend you're a stranger at a bar and have your partner go meet you. It's that kind of stuff. It's playful. It's fun. It can be. That's the high road of Venus and Uranus playing together, okay? It's accepting that we all get to be different. It is enacting your own differences in relationships. It's putting your foot down and allowing, who you want to be to shine within relationships and Venusian energy and how you make your house beautiful. Maybe it's not even sexual for you. Maybe your Venus vibes is like rearranging your living room, making your bedroom cozier, getting a new goddamn blanket. I support you. If you're going to do that though, get like a cool color. Don't get like brown, get like orange. If you're going to get like pink, get red. That's a good way to infuse some Uranus into your weekend. But if you're feeling sassy, to me, this is like a salty sweet. It's spicy. It adds a little bit of something to something we've been lacking, I feel. We are all trying to find level ground. We're all trying to find ourselves in this new climate, and we're all trying to recover. This is so many gray hairs. How sad is this? I kept thinking I had something in my hair, and I'm just like, nope, that's gray hair. Anyway, okay. There's some change. Hi, Uranus. I see you. I see you, girl. Anyway, it's really important to embrace change. And I think the hardest part about being in relationship with another person is you count on them to be a certain type of way, or you're attached to them being a certain type of way. And Uranus is here to remind us that we don't have to be a certain type of way all the time. My partner was looking through a bunch of all of my old books, and he was like, some of those really surprised me. Some of those books that you had really surprised me. And it really, I really heard that. And I was like, gosh, me in my 19-year-old iteration and 20s and whatever else, I was reading all kinds of stuff. I thought that I was all kinds of whatever. I was reading loads of Cormac McCarthy and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas and Jean-Paul Sartre having my big existentialist crisis, because that's what 20-year-olds do. I don't know. But when I look back on that person, I think, gosh, I really am a very different, type of human than I was back then, not so restless and intense. And, I think that I really used my Scorpio rising in a very different way than how I use it now. And it really made me realize that we have a right. And in fact, I dare you to change. We do not have to always be the stay-at-home mom that's always just this vanilla flavor, making the beds and cooking the meals. I still have to do that. That's true. So do you if you have kids and shit. But we all have things that we have to do. We have to punch the time clocks of whatever our life responsibilities are. But that doesn't mean that you have to punch it the same goddamn way every single morning. And the problem with relationships is that there is kind of an expectation that you do. That you aren't this evolving being, that you are just this person that they got in a relationship with and then expected you to be that person all the way through. And that's just not true. We have our core fundamental selves, but I also believe that there is great, great love for us here when we are flexible and when we don't want to just always have the same flavor of ice cream, coffee, fruit, meat, veggies. I think that we are a goddamn charcuterie board, okay? Let's put some olives and some uncooked asparagus on there. Who cares? Drizzle some olive oil all over yourself. Venus and Uranus would like that. Maybe that could be fun. I don't know. But kids, we're not here to stay the same. And I really got a good taste of that this weekend, looking through some of my older stuff, being like, I have changed so much. And yet I'm still me, I'm going to my 20-year high school reunion this month. And the truth is I have changed, but I'm still me. And that's what Uranus really wants to show us, is that, yes, we get into relationships for certain reasons. Yes, we like our creature comforts for certain reasons, but let's be open to the notion that and dare to be slightly different, or try something different, or feel something different, or think something different, because that's really when we discover something about ourselves that maybe we didn't know existed. My cat's really digging this. He's right here. He's like, yes, yes. He likes Uranus energy. He says, go forth, young people. And old people, especially old people, because I feel like the older we get, the more stuck we get, the more entrenched in routines we get, the more attached to a certain kind of outcome we get. And, I heard this line and I love it so much, that you move it or you lose it. Your bones start to harden if you're not remaining flexible and, doing stretching and working out. It's the same in relationships. It's the same in humaning. If you're not moving your mind, if you're not, being flexible in how you're relating to people, then you're going to lose something, because then the hallway in your mind becomes so narrow that we can't see right from left. Our neck gets so stiff that we can't see, the forest for the trees eventually. And that's when hardship really becomes completely unbearable. is just when everything gets so tight and close. And there's been a lot of tightness and a lot of closeness. And maybe that's served us, because that's survival. But I think what Uranus wants to teach us this weekend is just try it, Like Daniel Tiger, you got to try new food because it might taste good. You got to try new love because it might feel good. Right? We have to evolve with our partners. So my homework for all of you that are in partnerships is I double dog dare you to explore your partner in a completely different way. That can be sexually, go forth. That can be mentally, hell yeah. And that can be spiritually. Like, who were they when they were young people? Who are they now? Who are they trying to become? Try to imagine your partner at a dinner party and you don't know them and you're just watching them human in front of you. And try to remember what it was you fell in love with. Try to remember what it was you liked. And then, homework, see them as they are now and what their new hopes and dreams are, and try to really meet them and try to really see them and love them in their most vulnerable shells of selves, as we all are. We all ultimately just want to be accepted for who we are. I think it's why, unfortunately, gay people stay in the closet, why we have sexual longings that don't get answered, why we don't actually have the conversation with our partners that we need to be having, because we're so afraid of change. We're so afraid that our most softest parts of our hearts won't be accepted, that instead we build a trench around it to try to protect it. And I get it. I super get it, because I've done these things too. We all have. This is just how we're learning to protect ourselves, how we're learning to not protect ourselves, how we're unlearning all of the things we were taught as kids. We all are working with different deficits and different life lessons and different values and things. But if you can just for this weekend be open to someone else's values and thought processes and wants and desires, that maybe you would find some thought processes and wants and desires that you didn't even know you could have, and how fun is that in the grand scheme of things? And look at what I pulled. We pulled the Lovers card. Oh, how much do I love how synchronistic that card is for today, because it doesn't even have to do with, necessarily love, It has to do with our relationship to love, our relationship to Venus, our relationship to self, how we're holding ourselves and how we're holding others in the world that we're in, because it is so important to see one another, because when we feel seen, we have great capacity to accomplish and operate at our highest good. But when we don't feel seen and when we're not feeling supported, it's almost like a turtle going back into its shell. We limit how much we can accomplish when we believe that we are limited. And Uranus doesn't like limitations, okay? So wherever you're feeling limited in your relationships, blow that crap up. Go on a date, have some sex, have some conversations that really change the ball game here. Because who said you have to be playing this game when you could be playing that game? Who says you have to be in this very monotonous day-to-day reality in your relationships? All it takes is the desire. All it takes is creating room inside our very busy lives to see each other differently. We all become sometimes the very most boring versions of ourselves because, life can oftentimes be entrenched in routine. There's also so much going on this week with graduations and thoughts of others and these kinds of things. And so I really see it as a good opportunity to see our loved people, our kids, our spouses, our friends really differently. And maybe that's going to be so refreshing. Think of the possibilities that could happen in how you're loving yourself and how you're loving other people. If you were open to change at all times, if you were open to the story not being the same old story, if you were open to your complaints about your own personal relationships not mattering as much as maybe their complaints about the relationship. It's 50-50, but every once in a while it's got to be like 80-20. You know, it's like if you can really, really see someone for where they've come from, for how far they've come, and for where they want to be going, and then hold that for them. Can you imagine how beautiful that is? It's like when you hear of like a graduate, what are their hopes and dreams? And really listening to that, and instead of being like, well, that sounds really improbable, be like, wow, that's a beautiful hope. That's a beautiful dream. What kind of person do you think you're going to become while you're trying to accomplish this hope and dream? What kind of person do you think you could become if you opened the floodgates for new visions and hopes and dreams? That's what I hope this high road of Uranus and Venus meeting up, that's what I hope is what comes out of it for you and for me, because I so very much want to be seen for who I can be and what I'm capable of. And I so very much want to see you and everybody around me for who they can be and want to be without the limiting structures of who you think they should be. We should ourselves to death all day long. So maybe this is an opportunity to not do that and to loosen the hold we have on expectation and to allow a beautiful night of sex, a beautiful night of conversation, a beautiful night of change, to really focus in and zero in on how we can make this summer the best summer that it could possibly be, as couples, as friends, as lovers, as mothers, as fathers, as brothers, as sisters, all of it. How can we be better by seeing each other from a more advantageous angle? So that's my invitation to you guys. It's a pretty good week. It's our choice. Like when I see that there's not a lot of heavy or intense astrology, I always say this is our choice. We get to choose how we're going to move in the energy. We start out with the moon in Virgo. So that's very productive, getting our ducks in a row, checking off our lists and getting things done, you know? And I think that that's like a really great thing, because then we get to move into Libra, which is so lovely and beautiful this week and partnership oriented. So it's setting the stage for then like, you know, some Scorpio vibes to come in with that Uranus energy that's going to be like, pow, intensity maybe, but like big shifts, absolutely, but only if you're open to it. So good luck in staying open. Like and subscribe to my page, and do have a beautiful, beautiful week. And I'll see you soon.